In the pot, I'm your host Sean Grande, and today we're making sweet potato pie. I'm going to show you how to make sweet potato pie, and we'll be doing this on my Traeger grill. Now don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's What's in the Pot. Thank you very much for tuning into What's in the Pot. So I'm going to use about 1 pound of sweet potatoes. Now if you have large sweet potatoes, go ahead and use that. Once we've boiled our sweet potatoes, then we're going to go ahead and peel them. Now what we're doing is we boil them until they're completely soft and the skin starts breaking away, and we're just going to let them cool for a bit and then just peel the skins off. Now to get your sweet potatoes nice and silky smooth, you want to use a hand mixer. Main reason I say use a hand mixer is because with sweet potatoes, there's a little bit of that string. You know, sometimes if you make sweet potato mash, you might see that string in there. You can see the string right there. In order to get that off, you got to wash off the hand mixer blades. So what I did was I had a bowl on the side. If you got the sink nearby, go ahead and just rinse it off in the sink. Now we want to repeat this process maybe 3 or 4 times until those potatoes become completely silky and smooth. Now you're not going to get all of them, but they're going to become nice and smooth and remove as much of those little strings that are in the sweet potato. And one tip to remember is use a spoon or like a spatula, similar to what I'm using right now. And as you're mixing, you want to kind of edge off anything that goes to the side of the bowl just to clean it up, and then kind of fold it back in so you can do the mix again. This is as smooth as I can get it. There might be a little bit of that sweet potato, like the fibrous strings in there, but it's all good. So I'm going to start with 2 eggs. And remember, you want to make sure the sweet potato is cool because we don't want them eggs cooking into the mixture, because we want it to cook when we're baking it. So as I add the ingredients, I'm going to be going ahead and mixing it one more time. So I started with 2 eggs, kind of clean off the side of the bowl, and then we're going to go ahead and add some more ingredients. Our next ingredient I'm adding, this is about 6 tablespoons of butter. You can reduce the butter a little bit, but I'm using 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And again, once we add that butter, we're going to go ahead and give it another mix. My next ingredient is some sugar. I'm using 1 cup of raw cane sugar. You can use white sugar or brown sugar, a combination of both. I like to use just 1 cup of sugar. I don't want it to be too sweet. I just want that perfect sweetness and a little bit of that savoriness that we're gonna get from the sweet potato pie, because we still want to taste that sweet potato flavor in there. Now, instead of using vanilla extract, I'm using this Chief brand mixed essence, what we use in the Caribbean, especially for making black cakes, sponge cakes. It gives a nice flavor, and obviously I wanted to add a little bit of that Caribbean flavor to my sweet potato pie. The next thing is some pumpkin spice mix. You're watching this video, this is sweet potato pie, not pumpkin pie. But this mix is actually really good, especially if you're baking, especially the holiday time, because it has a little bit of everything. It has a little bit of clove, it has a little bit of cinnamon, it has a little bit of nutmeg, it has a little bit of ginger. So I like to use this. You can get that at Walmart, and just go ahead and incorporate all those flavors into the pie. Now I'm going to start with 1/4 cup of flour. Now what the flour does, it creates a bind. It kind of thickens up the pie too, especially it may sometimes when you're mixing all your ingredients, it may come out a little bit too watery, and you don't want to be too watery because then it's not going to really bake properly. So I'm starting with only about 1/4 cup of flour, and I'm using regular all-purpose flour. And some people use a lot of cream. I'm not using a lot of cream because I find the pie is very smooth. So instead I'm using some almond milk. This is probably equivalent to about maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons of almond milk, maybe even less than that. As I was mixing, I noticed I needed a little bit more flour into the pie, because to me it was a little bit too loose. Now you don't want it to be too thick, but you still want it to have that nice consistency because we want the pie to come out moist. So I add a little bit more flour, and just add your flour as you go, depending on the ingredients you use. It may be thicker, maybe a little bit more runnier. So overall I added 1/2 cup of flour, just 1/4 cup at the beginning and another 1/2 cup towards the end. Just give it a good mix and make sure you get all that flour just kind of incorporated into the pie mixture. This is my pie right before I'm going to put it in. You can see that's the thickness and the consistency that I like. I did give it a taste, and I felt like I needed a little bit more spice because I like a little bit of that spice in my pie. You can go ahead and omit this, it's really up to you, but just add that spice in, just kind of give it a good mix. Get the flavors and the seasonings kind of mixed in there one more time. Now for my pie crust I'm using today is a frozen pie crust. That's right, I don't have time to make a pie crust, and plus I'm not that good at making a pie crust. So I saved myself some time and some headache, and I went to the grocery store and picked up a frozen pie crust. I believe you can get like 2 or 3 of them for like $4 or $5. So head to your local grocery store, pick up a frozen pie crust, save yourself some time, and once you add that filling in there, We're gonna get the grill going, and I'm gonna have that preheating to 350 degrees. If you're not using a Traeger grill or a pellet grill, you can go ahead and use your oven, and you can set your oven to 350 degrees. I use the back of the spoon to try to smooth it out as much as possible. I have my Traeger Ironwood 650 set to 350 degrees, and it's been preheating for maybe about 15 minutes. Once it hit 350 degrees, I'm loaded in my pie. I'm gonna set my timer for 1 hour and 10 minutes. After an hour and 10 minutes, let's take a look and see. I'm thinking that pie crust needs a little bit more browning, so I went ahead and left it in for another 10 minutes. So total cook time was 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'm gonna let this cool. The pie's been cooling for maybe about half an hour because I don't want to burn my hands off. And this is our final product. You can see the crust is not super golden brown. If you want a little bit more golden brown, you can always put that in the oven, maybe hit it on that broil setting and go ahead and broil that up. Now, one thing I want to let you know, the wood I used was Traeger pecan pellets. The pecan pellets complemented the flavor of the sweet potato pie very nicely. It actually it's a nice complement for if you're making sweet potatoes on your grill on a regular. Now, if you are cooking this in the oven, you might not need to cook it for the extra 10 minutes. Just cook it for the hour and 10 minutes. On the Traeger grill, I wanted that extra 10 minutes to kind of get a little bit more brown on the pie crust itself. Now, this is me struggling to take the pie out because I don't want to break the crust. I mean, you know, it's for the video, so it's got to look good. What I liked about this is when I took it out, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a crust on the top, a nice little crunchy crust on the top, and that moist sweet potato pie in the middle. It came out absolutely delicious. I'm going to show you how it breaks off with that fork. Look at that. So nice and smooth. It's not runny. It's not hard. It's not dry. This is probably one of the best pies I've ever made. Thank you very much for tuning in to What's in the Pot. I'm your host, Sean Grande. And stay safe, stay blessed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and send this to your friends and family. Peace.